Oh, me see Bernie, me see him, Bernie. Bernie, come. Mr. Millwall, you have anything to
No
say for the
cameras,
camera?
no cameras. Put the cameras
No
away.
comment.
You have nothing to say?
Nothing to say
Why
right
have you
now,
been
sir.
arrested today, Mr.
Sir.
Millwall?
No idea, sir. I'm an innocent man.
Are you guilty?
I'm innocent.
Take a right here, Mr. Millwall.
Mr. Police, you have anything to say for the camera?
Put the cameras away, sir.
We have permission to film, don't worry.
Just stay away from the suspect.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Please be seated, guys. Thank you so much.
The next time, take me out for a date before you start getting rough with me, yeah?
I am High Court Judge Josh Simpson. I'll be presiding over this matter. You may all be seated. Today, we are hearing the following criminal charges in a serious case involving offences against Mr. Millwall. The charges are murder, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, possession of a firearm, and possession of Class 1 paraphernalia. For the criminal charges, the Crown must prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. All proceedings must be conducted with dignity and respect for the serious nature of these allegations. Crown Counsel, you may present your opening statement regarding the criminal charges against the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honour. This is a ghastly case concerning the death of an officer of the law and the actions of the defendant on the day in question. The Crown brings 4 charges before this court: murder, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, possession of a firearm, and possession of Class 1 paraphernalia. The victim, an innocent man, his only crime was doing his job. He was confronted by the defendant, anger clearly showing. This rage towards the victim was founded purely on the basis that the officer was arresting members of his organisation. The Crown says this is clear motive for violence. During the course of this trial, you will hear evidence placing the defendant at the scene at the time these events occurred. You will hear testimony about the circumstances surrounding the incident, the behaviour of the defendant, and the findings of officers who attended and conducted the subsequent investigations. The Crown will present witness accounts, findings found through in-depth investigations, and items recovered in connection with the defendant. Taken together, this evidence will outline the sequence of events that led to the victim's death and the defendant's involvement in those events. You will hear how the incident unfolded, the presence of a firearm during the encounter, and the recovery of paraphernalia linked to the defendant following the investigation. The Crown invites you to listen carefully to the evidence, assess the credibility of the witnesses, and consider the facts as they are presented before you. At the conclusion of this trial, the Crown will ask you to return verdicts consistent with the evidence placed before this court. Guilty on all charges. Thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you, Crown Counsel. Your statement has been noted for the record. Defence Counsel, you may now present your opening statement addressing the criminal charges and any relevant defences that you may have.
Your Honour, today you'll hear serious accusations against my client, charges of murder, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, possession of a firearm, and possession of Class 1 paraphernalia. These allegations have heavy consequences. Because of that, law requires something equally heavy in return: clear, credible, and convincing evidence beyond any reasonable doubt. As you listen to the prosecution's case, you will notice something very important. The evidence presented is not direct, it's circumstantial, built on assumptions, speculation, and conclusions drawn from incomplete information, rather than any concrete proof. The prosecution will attempt to piece together a narrative, but a narrative is not evident. They can't prove my client shot the firearm he legally carried. They cannot prove guilt for him simply for fearing for his life. In fact, even their own evidence fails to demonstrate that the firearm he carries was ever. Instead, they rely on circumstance, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, around the wrong people. But our justice system does not convict individuals simply because the story sounds plausible. It requires proof. Throughout this trial, the defence will show that the prosecution's case leaves significant gaps. You'll see key elements of these charges are unsupported by any physical evidence, unsupported by reliable testimony, and unsupported by the facts themselves. At the end of this case, when all the evidence has been presented, we are confident you will see what the law requires you to see, which is reasonable doubt. And where reasonable doubt exists, the law requires only one verdict. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Defence Counsel. Your criminal defence argument is now on record. Crown Counsel, you may now present your witnesses and evidence supporting the criminal charges before us today.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Crown calls Aiden Serrano to the stand.
Mr. Serrano, do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence that you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Crown Counsel, please proceed.
Aiden Serrano, what is your relationship with the victim?
I knew Jeremy for about a week. He was a decent officer who had over 25 arrests on his record within such a short time of joining the police department. He had a passion for justice and making things right.
And what happened on the day of the murder?
Millwall was captured on my officer's body cam having an altercation with Jeremy. Shortly after everything went quiet, my officer turned around, a shot was fired, and Jeremy was on the ground. Millwall was fleeing the scene.
What was seized from the defendant when he was searched?
Upon searching him in my custody, I found Millwall in possession of cocaine and weed. Precisely 2 cocaine and 3 joints.
During the time of the incident, was the defendant present?
I cannot say for certain as I'm not a direct witness. In my professional opinion, however, I would argue he was indeed on the scene as Millwall has had previous altercations with the KSID.
What can you tell us about the defendant?
Millwall is a hardened criminal with plenty of people back in his corner. With the amount of previous charges Millwall has faced and the possession of drugs, I would argue he is borderline criminally insane.
And lastly, were there any weapons found from Millwall?
You mean besides the weapon?
When I asked you earlier what was seized, you didn't mention a weapon. Was there a weapon found when you searched him?
Yes, there was an FN-57.
Okay. No further questions for the witness, Your Honor?
Thank you, Crown Counsel. Defence Counsel, do you wish to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, please. So, Mr. Aiden Serrano, in your professional opinion, would you say the weapon seized was the same weapon used to commit the murder?
Yes, I would. Evidence suggests that the FN-57 was used, the same weapon that has been found on Millwall.
So, how can you be so sure that the bullet that has been fired from the same weapon was the same that's been found on Millwall's person?
The size of the bullet found within Jeremy and the size of the bullets used in the FN-57. Pistol bullets have a smaller radius than bullets that come from ARs or SMGs.
Okay, was anyone else present at the scene that would have had motive or any capability to execute the officer?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled. Please proceed, Defence Counsel.
Okay, were there any others present at the scene who weren't officers?
Yes, Millwall had 2 friends present at the time.
Okay. What did you visually observe on the body cam that led you to the conclusion that Millwall charged the fatal shot?
So, Millwall was having an altercation with Jeremy. Body cam does not show Millwall pulling the trigger, but in the body cam you can hear a gunshot being fired. Shortly after, the officer turns around and sees Jeremy is on the floor, and that Millwall is then fleeing towards his vehicle.
Okay, so in your professional opinion, would you say that is solid proof for arrest? You didn't see him fire the shot?
I would argue yes, it is.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you. Crown Counsel, can you please reduce your next witness, should you have one?
Thank you, Your Honour. The Crown calls Cody Johnson to the stand.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence that you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Crown Counsel, please proceed.
Cody Johnson, can you describe what you observed during the altercation involving Mr. Millwall and the officer?
Yes, I was standing, my body was turned not towards it, so I was facing away from it. However, I overheard Millwall shouting and just screaming words at my fellow officers about the situation, about something going on. Wasn't really able to hear everything though. Next thing that I know, a shot goes off, and as I turn around, I see my colleague on the floor injured, and Millwall is running.
And did you see Mr. Millwall holding a firearm during the incident?
As he was running away, I was not able to see a firearm, no.
Okay. After the gunshot was fired, were you able to provide assistance to the injured officer, and what was the condition of the officer at that time?
So the first thing that I did was pull out my gun because I didn't know if there were any other assailant part of this whole thing. But yes, I did rush over to my colleague who was injured, and he was unresponsive to me.
And how did the defendant appear during his confrontation with the officer?
The defendant seemed highly aggressive from what I could hear. As I was saying, he was shouting and screaming, saying all kinds of words, words that I cannot say in this court as it would disrespect everyone here, including the judge.
Okay, thank you, Cody. No further questions for the witness, Your Honor.
Do not
Thank you,
engage.
Crown Counsel.
Contain
Defense
it,
Counsel,
and
do you
engage
wish to
until you make
cross-examine
a
the
move.
witness?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, qualms.
So, Mr. Cody Johnson, before joining SID, are there any other organisations or groups in which you were involved in?
Unfortunately, I do have to say, yeah, that was a dark past for me. I was part of the Sims cartel.
Okay. So, during your time in these organisations, did you have any conflict with Millwall that could possibly make you biased against him in this case?
I do recall there what might have been a hit on him in Sims cartel, but that is nothing that I was a part of. All I know that there was.
Okay. You're also not a psychologist or trained in assessing people's capacity for violence, is that correct?
No, I am not.
Okay, so any answer you give about his capability would be purely speculative, is that also correct?
Yes, that is.
Okay. And lastly, the other members who were with Millwall, they were carrying the same gun that was used for the murder, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
No further questions, Your Honour.
Defense Counsel. Crown Counsel, do you wish to present your next witness?
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
Thank you, Crown Counsel.
Jack, move it, bro.
May I go back to my seat?
You may be seated. Please have quiet in the courtroom. Don't be asked again. If I have any more interruptions, you'll be held in contempt of court. Defense, you may now present your witnesses and evidence challenging the criminal allegations. You have the right to present evidence of innocence, lack of intent, mistaken identity, or any other relevant defences that you may have.
Your Honour, I'd like to call Tyrone Corleone to stand. So, Mr. Corleone, how well would you say you know Mill?
Very well. He's a good friend.
And how would you describe his interactions with police in the past?
Is what?
His interactions with police.
I think he loves him.
Yeah? Have you ever witnessed him in any situations involving police?
No.
And based on what you know, how would you describe his behaviour in high stress or confrontational situations?
He's very chill, to be fair.
No further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you, Defence Counsel. Crown Counsel, do you wish to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Tyrone, have you personally seen Millwall fire a weapon directed towards someone?
Only at a firing range.
Has Millwall ever instructed you to carry a gun at all times?
Yo, who's playing the
Your
music?
Honour, Your Honour, objection. Assumes a fact, not an evidence.
Agreed.
Nah, there's a fucking
Please on to the next question, Your Honour. Sorry, Crown Counsel.
this goes Sophie.
What is your position within his organisation?
01.
I'll be pushing him.
And have you ever observed Mr. Millwall lose his temper with people while in high-stress situations?
No.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honour.
Crown Counsel. Maybe see to Mr. Corleone, thank you. Sam, please. Mr. Millwall, do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence that you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
You just ask me a number.
It's muted as well, guys.
Somebody shut the voice box, please.
Am I here? Yep.
Yep. Need to repeat that?
Absolutely, Your Honour. No,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Maybe seated, thank you. Defence counsel may proceed.
Perfect. Mr. Millwall, can you describe where you were and what you were doing on the day of the incident?
Well, just carried out some normal business as I run a security firm. My nephew met me at my penthouse after college, and that's when we then went to my compound for a meeting where my business and organisation deal with all the jobs that we have that night.
Okay. Who were with you at the time of the confrontation, and what were they doing?
There was no confrontation,
Everyone
so I have no
smile.
idea.
Were you carrying any weapons or any other items on yourself?
Smile.
I always carry a weapon. I've got firearms
talking.
license as I run a private security firm.
Okay. What was your reason for fleeing the scene at the time?
I was not at no scene.
As in when you were speaking to the officer?
I have not spoken to any officer in any department or anything as of a long time ago.
No further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you, Defence Counsel. Crown Counsel, you wish to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honour. Mr. Millwall.
Sorry, just before we start, Crown Counsel. Angel Security, can we please make sure that anyone that is disrupting the courtroom is removed promptly to make sure that we can continue proceedings? Apologies, Crown Counsel may continue.
Thank you, Your Honour. Mr. Millwall.
Yes, sir.
The two other people with you were wearing face coverings, so they can't be positively identified from the body cam footage, can they?
No idea what you're on about, yo.
When you were later detained by SID, you were found carrying a firearm that matched the weapon used in the incident, weren't you?
I was found with a firearm, yes.
You were also found in possession of cocaine and cannabis at the time of the arrest, correct?
That is correct. That's because I seized them from the night before at Club Vanilla, Polito, as we worked security there. And I forgot to log them because it was a late night.
And to confirm, you and your associates were all armed during the confrontation with the officer?
I can't say that we were because me or none of my colleagues were there.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honour.
Crown Counsel. Mr. Millwall, you may be seated. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Defence Counsel, do you wish to bring any more witnesses to the stand? Defence Counsel.
No, thank you.
Alright, all parties have presented their cases. We will now hear closing arguments. Crown Counsel, you may present your closing argument on why the defence should be convicted of criminal charges.
Thank you, Your Honour. You have now heard all of the evidence presented in this case. The Crown has laid before you the evidence surrounding the death of the victim and the events that occurred on that day. You have heard testimony placing the defendant at the location of the incident and during the time frame in which it occurred. You have heard from officers involved in the investigations and about the items recovered during the course of their inquiries. The evidence presented outlines the sequence of events that culminated in the victims' deaths. The Crown has also addressed the presence of a firearm during the incident and the conduct surrounding its use. In addition, the investigation resulted in the recovery of Class 1 paraphernalia connected to the defendant. We now ask you to consider the evidence as a whole and determine what conclusions can reasonably be drawn from it. When viewed in its entirety, the Crown submits that the evidence supports the charges brought before this court. Accordingly, the Crown invites you to return verdicts of guilty on all charges presented. Thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you, Crown Counsel. Defence Counsel, you may now present your closing argument defending against the criminal charges.
Your Honour, over the course of this trial, we've heard the prosecution attempt to connect my client to a series of very serious crimes, but when we step back and examine the evidence carefully, we see that their case is built not on certainty, but on circumstance and assumption. For the charge of possession of a firearm, the prosecution has claimed my client has no weapon license. However, if they check correctly, they would see this as false. The weapon recovered from them is admissible, as body cam shows multiple people at the scene had the exact same gun matching the bullet fired. No forensic proof, no definitive testimony establishing intent, yet they ask you to conclude that my client executed an officer just because there was a dispute between organisations. With regard to the murder charge, the prosecution again relies on circumstantial connections rather than direct proof. Suspicion is not evidence. Proximity is neither guilt. Being present in a situation does not make someone responsible for a crime committed by another. Finally, regarding the alleged possession of Class 1 paraphernalia, the defence has shown that the prosecution has not definitively established ownership, control, or knowing possession by my client. The law does not ask you to determine whether something might have happened. It asks whether the prosecution has proven beyond any reasonable doubt that it did happen and that my client is responsible. In this case, that standard has not been met. When evidence is uncertain, when conclusions require speculation, when doubt remains, as it clearly shows here, the law requires that doubt be resolved in favour of the accused. Therefore, we respectfully ask that you return the only verdict supported by the evidence and by the principles of justice. Not guilty on all counts. Thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you, Defence Counsel. This court has now heard all arguments and defences. The court will now be adjourned for a few minutes whilst the decision is made. Thank you for your patience.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Free Millwall. Free Millwall.
Party after this, lads and ladies.
Free Millwall.
After reviewing all of the evidence and testimony, I find that Mr Millwall has been found on the following charges. Murder, not guilty. Possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, not guilty. Possession of a firearm, not guilty. Possession of a Class 1 paraphernalia, guilty. On 1 of 4 counts, I find the defendant, Mr Millwall, not guilty. He is, however, ordered to pay a fine of £500,000 for the possession of a Class 1 substance. As this was handed over to SID during his arrest, he will be granted bail, suspended for 50 months. Court is now adjourned. Thank you for your time.
Oh, Mr Millwall, excuse me. Do you have any time for any questions this afternoon, sir?
Yep, we can do it a quick interview before I leave.
Alright, so... Oh, no, sorry, carry on, man.
Yeah, I was just thinking, should we walk and talk, or did you want to stop?
Yeah, man, no, we just stopped by the fountain. It's a better shot there, but we can walk and talk. So how do you feel like the verdict went today, sir?
Oh, mistake. It went the way we needed it to go today. It went the right way. I knew I was innocent. I knew it was going to be the right decision. The court was with me on the right time.
Alright, so do you have any words you'd like to say for anybody who, like yourself, thought all hope was lost because, you know, you was treated, you know? Do you have anything to say?
Just trust the process, and if it weren't for my great legal team, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Alright, so Mr. Millwall, what would you say the best part about, like, your job or your role in the city is?
Well, it's just I get satisfaction for keeping people safe, looking after people's property, businesses, personal protection. And it's just satisfaction to be able to look after members of the community.
Alright. Which kind of things you do in your spare time, you know, if you have any? I know you're a busy man, you know, but there's plenty of things.
There ain't no party like a Millwall party, so we do like the old nightclubs.
Right. When the next Millwall party, you know?
I think there might be one booked in later, is that right, Ty?
Well, me hope Bernie and Ernie get invitation, you know what I mean? We love a party, man.
Absolutely.
Alright, well.
Absolutely.
Well, me think that's all from me. This has been PBC News and Bernie Brukshot with Mr. Millwall, you know, live and direct. Beat. Oh, Lord.
Oh, shit.
Oh, run.
Che come? Pochi mai.